In 2150, humanity learned the Earth's magnetosphere would collapse sometime in the next half-century, eliminating all life on the planet. Decisive action was required, but the secure transport of an entire civilization would demand a new kind of cooperation, a new kind of courage, and a new kind of union. Thus, in 2159, the United Colonies were formed to make that journey possible. Just 1 year later, the Galileo, the first of many colony ships, touched down here on Jemison, beginning a new era of human history, the age of the United Colonies.
The effort and planning it must have taken to evacuate literally the entire planet. Can you imagine the logistics?
That was actually cool. That was cool. We're gonna do this.
From their foundation, the United Colonies strove to provide all their citizens with opportunity, security, and peace. But there were those among the UC that still wanted something more: independence. So in 2161, the UC issued the Centaurus Proclamation, granting UC citizens the right to settle distant worlds and form their own sovereign powers. It wasn't long before the first new faction, the Free Star Collective, was formally organized in 2188, later followed by House Varun, revealing themselves to the universe in 2230.
The result of the Centaurus Proclamation has always left me torn. So much conflict arose as a result. Was it worth it?
Oh, she's got flavor text.
It was only in 2230 that the faction known as House Varun first made contact with the rest of the settled systems. Founded by the passengers of a colony ship that had left New Atlantis and disappeared 4 decades earlier, House Varun was a faction unlike any other. A theocracy dedicated wholly to the beliefs of its isolationist founder, Janan Varun. House Varun initially made overtures of peace towards the rest of the settled systems. They claimed their only intention was to spread the word of their god, the Great Serpent. But none could have guessed that this worship might take the form of a bloody war, the Serpent's Crusade.
Well, don't leave me hanging. What happened next? Okay, first of all, I feel like if you are going to create a religion, maybe you leave the word serpent out of it, right? I feel like there is certainly a certain connotation, or it adds, it flavors people's perception of your religion if you call it the serpent's embrace. Also, do these guys look like the Prometheans, right? If they were like, you guys saw that movie Prometheus, right? These guys, look at this. This guy looks like Murderbone or whatever his name was, that we're probably gonna have to deal with again. The Nation at War. Good morning, One Trick. How are you? Holy shit. Wait a minute. Beginning in 2196, the Narian War, humanity's first large-scale conflict among the stars, is remembered as a defining moment for the settled systems. As the first major conflict to make extensive use of grav jump-enabled ships, the Narian War was less defined by key space battles and more by an extended cat-and-mouse interplay between the two powers, as well as the well-armed and professional UC Navy tried again and again to pin down the piecemeal but savvy Freestar fleet. Unable to strike the killing blow, the UC resorted to ever more severe tactics to try and drive the collective to capitulate, but without success. In fact, after many long years of war with little to show for it, even the populace of the UC itself began to turn against the cause, with protests roiling even New Atlantis, the citizenry demanding the war finally come to a humane close. So when at long last the final blow was struck, with the UC Navy finally cornering and obliterating the Freestar fleet in 2216, it was a hollow victory. It was from the resulting negotiations, the Treaty of Narion, that the settled systems as we know them today emerged, both literally and figuratively. Despite winning the war, the UC found themselves in an unenviable position, painted as a brutal aggressor even in their home systems. So in the spirit of unity and lasting peace, the UC agreed to the demands of the Freestar Collective and the Narian settlers whose collusion triggered the conflict in the first place, and handed over Narian to the Collective, as they had requested at the start of hostilities, including the Clinic Medical Star Station, creating the Freestar Collective as we know it today. In return, the UC demanded two concessions. The first was payment for damages done in the form of mineral rights on multiple worlds across the galaxy. The second, more significant demand was that no Grey faction may ever colonize more than 3 systems. The UC would have Alpha Centauri, Sol, and Wolf, and the Freestar Collective have Cheyenne, Volley, and Narion. The Freestar Collective agreed to these terms, creating and codifying into law the settled systems as we know them today. The Treaty of Narion has since become the foundation of all contemporary political relations, and its only official violation the cause of the galaxy's greatest conflict, the Colony War. To learn more about the Colony War, please proceed to the Conflict Among the Stars mural. Ooh.
Beginning in 2240, House Varun forces declared all-out war on the rest of human civilization, initiating the Serpent's Crusade. Over the next 23 years, thousands of Freestar, UC, and independent souls were killed by agents of House Varun in the name of their serpent god. It was only with the death of their founder in 2263 and the succession of his heir Jarek that House Varun finally sued for peace. There remains, however, select members of House Varun who refuse to recognize the cessation of hostilities their leaders established.
Ah, I see.
Even after House Varun's mysterious disappearance, these zealots remain a threat to all who encounter them. Their pacification, a goal of all space.
Ah, okay, so listen, there's a couple of things that I've learned here. Number one, I don't really think that the UC are the good guys. They don't sound good. So basically, the UC was designed to take people off of Earth, and we became an interplanetary species. And then they were basically like, hey, everybody, there's plenty of space here for everyone. You guys go do your thing. And when everyone went and did their thing, the UC was like, oh, no, not like that. And then there was a giant colony war where the UC tried to beat down the Freestar Collective and House Varun. And these people were like, nah, fuck that shit. And then it was the UC's own personal Vietnam because the conflict went on so long and the resources in lives that were lost were so great that eventually the people of the UC were like, hey, fuck this shit, we need to stop it. And due to popular demand, they had to make peace with the Freestar Collective and House Varun. Then House Varun was like, hey, we're good to go. But then some people in House Varun were like, nah, fuck that shit, we ain't good to go. And that's why we're always attacked by House Varun. All right, this is actually making a lot of sense now.
Of the many conflicts between the galaxy's factions, none was more brutal than the recent colony war between the UC and the Freestar Collective. Set off by the unauthorized Freestar colonization of Vesta's Pride in 2308, a direct violation of the Narion Treaty, the colony war spread quickly across the galaxy.
The Freestar did not start the war.
Deployed every tool at their disposal. Armadas of warships, mechanized combat platforms, or mechs, even bioengineered alien creatures, the infamous UC xenoweapons. It was only in 2311 at the Battle of Cheyenne that the scales finally tipped. The Freestar Collective, utilizing their civilian fleet as a human shield, successfully crippled the superior United Colonies Navy. After their shocking victory against the galaxy's greatest navy, the Freestar Collective offered terms of peace, which the colonies, out of an interest in staving off any further human costs, accepted. The galaxy has been rebuilding ever since.
So listen, my question is though, did the UC need to start a war over the Freestar Collective, maybe overstepping their bounds a little and putting up a mining colony of all things on a planet that they weren't supposed to? That, I don't know. I feel like the UC was looking for a reason to pop off, and maybe the Freestar Collective shouldn't have colonized that fourth system, but was it really worth going to war over?
Few settled worlds were left untouched by the colony war. But nowhere could the viciousness of modern warfare be seen more clearly than on the Freestar planet of Nira. Initially occupied by invading United Colonies forces as a forward operating position, repeated attempts to take and retake the planet by collective forces led only to devastation. Swaths of the world were transformed into scorched husks, a nightmarish testament to the depths of human ingenuity and human cruelty. And today, Nira remains a continuing reminder to the horrors of unfettered war.
Guys, I think you guys listen. I don't want to say that you guys are UC bootlickers here, but give an inch and the Freestar takes a mile. You don't know that. We don't know that. We don't know that.
In the midst of the colony war, a different kind of tragedy struck the UC city of Londinian. A newly constructed but critical supply center for the United Colonies war effort, Londinian found itself overrun by one of the galaxy's most mysterious predators, the Terramorph. A rare but pervasive threat to all human-settled worlds, Terramorphs swept over the city seemingly out of nowhere on a scale never before seen in recorded history. Valiant efforts by the UC military slowed the onslaught, but the creatures proved unstoppable. Ultimately, the decision was made to destroy the Londinian spaceport, sealing off the city, the outbreak, and its citizenry from the galaxy at large. The tragedy of Londinian is mourned by the UC to this day.
Is anybody old enough to remember the time that Arthas purged Strathholm? Wow.
Dad wanted me to apply for the administration track at school, but I'm going to be a xenobiologist. It's science division or nothing.
No, I'm not. That was actually cool. Whoever told me that I should listen to that was like 1,000. Okay, how many more are there?
After the devastation wrought by the colony war, the UC and the Freestar Collective came together to ratify a treaty that became known as the Armistice. Both sides agreed to a vast reduction in standing forces, and that xeno-weapons and mech warfare would be outlawed. All related research was sealed away, accessible only in cases of dire emergency.
Wait, what
But
clicking
the
noise?
Collective had another demand, that the active commanders of the UC military stand trial for their actions. The United Colonies, in the interest of peace and galactic security, agreed. In 2311, 3 United Colonies senior officers were found guilty. Commander Henry Durant, General Indira Rastogi, and Fleet Admiral Francois Sanon, known better as Ve Victus. All were sentenced to death for their actions, bringing the colony war to a close and returning peace to the galaxy at long last.
I was a strong supporter of the
Is the game too loud? Yeah, the clicking noise is when it loads up the recording.
Used against one another.
Is the game too loud for anybody else? Yeah, it's a good thing that
I got them.
It's a good.
What do you call them? Corns? Yeah, I got corns.
She's got porns. The Vanguard is born. It's funny they banned mech warfare and Battletech mech war was made more popular because it was less destruction than weapons of. I don't know.
It is into this new world that the Vanguard was born. An official branch of the UC Navy, the Vanguard is the United Colonies Volunteer Fleet, serving a myriad of security, logistical and reconnaissance roles. And after a sufficient length of service, UC citizenship is guaranteed to every Vanguard member. Open to all captains, regardless of origin, the Vanguard is leading the charge to protect and support the citizens of the United Colonies, wherever in the galaxy they may be.
Makes sense. Okay, there's one more. Let's do it.
No one is born a United Colony citizen. Only through service to the UC can one hope to earn one's citizenship. But the UC prides itself on taking care of its people. Cost of living controls mean citizens pay less than their foreign counterparts for needs big and small. All citizens are issued a grant upon joining to get themselves on their feet. And only UC citizens have the opportunity to purchase property, getting the chance to live in one of the most beautiful cities in the settled systems. By joining the Vanguard today, you too can begin earning your place here, in the heart of galactic civilization, as a citizen of the United Colonies.
Wow. Okay, so question for you guys. This was very cool, but was that all propaganda to get me to join the Vanguard? Do you guys think that that was a retelling of history and also propaganda, or was that just straight propaganda?